little, I really wanted to be a high voltage electrician. And when I grew up in Romania, if you didn't go to college, you had two choices for a profession, or to become a shoemaker or to become a tailor. And my father was a genius, really. He was building while I was a youngster, grown up. I moved to 4 cities where cathedrals were built, churches. Actually cathedrals, not small churches, but cathedrals. In those days, there's these ornamental, outside ornamental doors and figurines and saints, and was all done out of concrete. And he was a specialist in that. So we moved 2 years in one city, then another 2 years in another city, until the work was done. He opened a restaurant with my uncle together. He sort of taught him and get him started. And he worked it there until he went broke. He lost a restaurant on our apartment we owned in a night in a poker game. And the next night we had to move out. And my father went back to work, which the government built silos. And my father was supervising those things. Mm-hmm. And he got killed there. Now when he died, we didn't know if he was killed or really the scaffolds were loosened. Mm-hmm. And a week later he fell off the scaffold. Now he's been going on scaffold all his life. Mm-hmm. Since he was a boy, 18 years old when he started to be a mason. And some of his co-workers said, but he couldn't prove it. And he said he probably was loosened when he fell down. When he died, I was 15. He died on my 15th birthday. And that's how I wanted to get away.
So then you decided to...
I was like a burden to my mother, you know.
Why? For her son?
What do you mean? We had no money. Yeah. We lost the restaurants in one night, and I could live off them. Mm. So I had to go away, and the first thing was, 2 years before, I wrote on this Romanian contract to become an electrician, you know, and then I took it, just to get away.
So you left when you were 15. When's the first time you went back?
I never saw my mother.
You never saw your mother again?
No. Well, she died before I got a chance to go home. And I had the joy when you went into the army, you had a choice to select what you want to do. As a 16-year-old boy, I was offered a BMW motorcycle. What do you think I did? What do you think will I choose? My motorcycle I received when I went to Greece. And I was like in 7th heaven, 16-year-old boy with a 750 BMW motorcycle. So that was fun. But then it got serious. I never killed anybody, thank God. The first dead man I saw in combat on the Russian front was a Russian. He must have been about 25 years old, died in front of me by retreat. We drove the Russians out of the town, and he was shot, wounded, and we drove him out of the town, little town, and here lays this guy, and I bent down to look at him, and he had put this, he had his hand like this out of the bag, out of his pocket, you know, from his vest, from his uniform. When he drawed out the pictures, there was a nice looking woman with two children. When he died right there. Well, I cried there, you know. So this was the first dead man I saw. Our division was involved in combat defending Budapest, Hungary. After 3 weeks in combat, I was wounded in an attack from a Russian T-34. Attacked our position, and I was in a cemetery, hid behind a grave, taking cover. I had to be next to the company commander. He was like 10 meters in front of me, and he called me when I left my position, and at the same time a tank grenade exploded next to me, and I was wounded. Until a friend of mine carried me back to a MASH station. Because I had a head wound, when I came to me, I was tied to a tree. The shrapnel went in here, on the right side of my jaw, and came out on the left eye, behind the left eye. Mm-hmm. All that I could open in my mouth was like 1/8 of an inch. I had to stuff everything sideways. And they broke it, and they put a plate in. But then the bones were already growing so that I could move my mouth, my jaw. Mm-hmm. Now, what else you want to know? And then from there, after I was there a month, I was taken to Würzburg, Germany, into a jaw clinic. Würzburg was a city declared as a Red Cross city. I was there until Würzburg was bombed out by the American bombers. And the whole city was burning down. And in the morning, the hospital management came, and whoever could walk had to go home. So I had a friend in my room in the same hospital, in the monastery, and he says, "Come with me to Linz, Austria." So the next 4 days, there was nothing running anymore. The war was as good as finished. I wrote to my mom and my sister, and that I'm well, don't worry about me. I'm in a hospital and they're taking care of my wounds. But I'm okay. And she wrote down back to me and she said, "Well, we love you. Whatever you do, don't come home." And this struck me just sort of funny because I wanted to get home. Yeah. And here she tells me not to come home. Later on I found out that she didn't want me to go home because every German, or ethnic German, that's what we was called because we were Romanian Germans. And they were taken to Russia. But my sister stayed home. And in order for her not to go, my mother hid her in the cellar for 6 months behind those wood piles. Mm-hmm. Because they came and they was beating my mother to say very aware. They were looking for me, they were looking for my sister. Everybody who went to Russia, including a cousin of mine, came back, died or came back broken, sick. Mm-hmm. And my cousin was there for about 4 years, and when she was got sick and couldn't work no more, she sent her home and she died shortly after. Mm-hmm. And so that was the war story. Now I told you half of my life already. What else you want to know?